Welcome to Cryptonaut Podcast. My name is Mark Storrs, and I am joined by Mr. Robert Thomas Morphy the second.
You better effing believe it.
What is happening, Rob?
Oh, man, just got over being deathly ill for a week.
Yep.
Like just dying left and right, and then not dying, and then I came back for the podcast, only to find out we've lost Chris.
Dude, unfortunately, Chris will not be here with us. The poor bastard. He's got some shit happen, but don't worry, he's good. He's fine. I saw him the other day. He's over there at his apartment, holding it down, doing his deal. And yes, we are enacting the Thunderdome protocols. I will be Tina Turner. I will be your private dancer for money. We will chant, "Bust the deal, break the wheel."
Wow.
Is that it? No, is it?
I don't remember.
Is that what it was? Was it bust the deal?
Honestly,
break?
it's been way too long since I've seen Thunderdome.
Bust the deal, face the wheel.
Oh.
We're not going to edit that.
No, we're not.
We're just going to go with my dumb shit. Bust the deal, break the wheel.
Hey, dude, I didn't even know what the fuck you were talking about, so that makes it even sweeter.
Oh man, and I gotta tell you, man, you sound much better because I was talking to you the last week and you sound like dog shit.
Oh
so
yeah,
you definitely sound way better. And we are currently our studio currently. Last week we noticed pumpernickel.
Yeah,
there was a pumpernickel smell.
Yeah, well, I walked in. I'm like, is somebody eating a loaf of pump? Because I mean, it's not a bad. I mean, if you want like to make a beef boat out of it or something, but I mean, it's just not what you expect to smell in a studio.
So right now, I currently am in a miasma of pumpernickel and your what is it? Essential oils.
Yeah,
thieves?
it's an essential. Well, it's not fucking thieves. You know
what's it called?
It's just fucking spearmint.
Peppermint. Oh, it's a spearmint.
Now,
okay.
usually I use a little dabble of peppermint because you know it clears out the sinuses, keeps you alert.
No,
but I ran out of peppermint.
My face is open right
now. And I don't really collect essential oils. I just steal them from people because they don't fucking use peppermint enough. And by stealing them, I mean I'm like, are you using this? Not really. Boom.
It's mine.
And so every now and again, I fucking have to blow your minds, and yours exclusively today, with the overwhelming scent of mint.
I feel it in my upper lip, like in my stash. Like I mean, I don't even know how you're doing that. Like it feels like your entire face right now should just be open,
dude.
Like the entire world.
I'm trying to breathe right. I'm trying to be here for you and the audience.
All right.
And the way to do it is mint. And I just took like Alka-Seltzer plus Emergency, and I made a little cocktail.
Oh man.
All
right, dude.
Splash of vodka, mixed it together. We're good to go, buddy.
Awesome. All right, cool. There it is. Thank y'all so very much for joining us. Cryptonaut Podcast. Robert, we have some shout outs to do for the good folks that support us over there at patreon.com/Cryptonaut Podcast. Let's do those shout outs.
God bless them, everyone. Beginning with Corey Trago Erdner.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Corey.
Let me try that last name one more time. Erdner. I think I added a G that wasn't supposed to be there.
Erdner.
Corey Trago.
Nice.
None of this is real podcast. That's a great name.
That's a great name for a podcast. Thank you for your support. We appreciate it.
Stephanie Park.
What up, Stephanie?
Cat Wink.
Cat, what up?
Josh Shishka Babadopoulos. Oh, I almost tripped up on that one.
All right, yeah. I mean, that's your $1, that's your $5. I appreciate it, and that's a tough name to be having to.
It's dope
try
though.
To say. I love it.
It looks Greekish from a quick glance.
I love it.
Justin Harper.
What up, Justin?
Jose Lopez.
Yo, Jose, what up?
Ashley England.
What's happening, Ashley?
It's a blimp. Fuck you. Fuck you, dude.
Thank you for your support. It's a blimp.
God damn it. Walker Weatherington.
Dude, is that like Walker, Texas Ranger? I love it.
I don't know. The British edition, like the Kingsman version.
I love the name Walker. It's awesome.
Ben.
Hell yeah, Ben.
Simple, clean, nice.
Good friend, Ben.
Serena DeRosa.
Oh, yeah, Serena, thank you. Thank you all for your continued Patreon support.
Always. Thank you.
And again, that is patreon.com/Cryptonaut Podcast. Check that out over there. This week, this is a special one because we have been talking about doing this for so long. I remember Matt Drew sent us this link a while ago.
Oh, yeah.
I know our good buddy Cole Harold has this available, too.
Yep.
And
he helped with the research. Always give a shout out to our resident researcher, Cole Harold. And I got to say, like, I mean, I remember reading about this in the Field Guide to Extraterrestrial Entities, Patrick Yugi, Tambor. I'm going to forget the illustrator's name, but you know what I'm talking about. The little pamphlet-like thing that is a classic of its type back in the 90s. And it's got an awesome sketch. It's always been a cool little story. But doing a deeper dive, it's even quirkier and more fun. So this is a nice little blast of extraterrestrial mayhem that, like you say, it's a classic of its type, and it's one that's been just almost done a million times, and I can't believe it took us this long to get to it.
We are talking about the Ririe Carjackers. Let's get started with in what has to be one of the oddest extraterrestrial encounters on record. Two teenage boys were driving down a remote stretch of Idaho highway when they had a terrifying encounter with a flying saucer and a pair of diminutive inhuman entities who, for reasons unknown, seemed hellbent on not only stealing their car, but the kids themselves, in what turned out to be just the beginning of a mini-intergalactic crime spree.
God bless them.
That is one of the fucking best intros I've read in a long time, and it is so loaded, and it has me thinking about the story. I'm so fucking psyched. The Ririe Carjackers, Robert, holy shit, let's do it.
Only in Idaho. At approximately 9:30 p.m. on the evening of November 2nd, 1967, a pair of New Mexican teens of Navajo descent, Will Begay and Guy Tossie, were driving south on the all but empty Highway 26, with Will behind the wheel. The duo had migrated north to work a potato farm in the tiny, rural, southeastern Idaho town of Riri, and were likely exhausted after a hard day's work and simply looking forward to a quiet night with lots of rest. But, to paraphrase the late great Scottish poet Robert Burns, as I am wont to do, the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry.
Excellent Robert Burns quote. I didn't even know he was a poet. Thank you, good sir.
You're welcome. And for these young men, this oft-quoted rule would offer no exceptions.
Oh.
The first odd event in what would be a veritable comedy of terrors, you see what I did there, was when a tiny pinprick of illumination in the distance suddenly exploded into a blinding flash of light. Will was about to automatically stomp on the brakes, but before he had a chance to lift his foot off the accelerator, the car ground to a halt, seemingly of its own accord. Within seconds, their vision cleared, and the teens were astounded to see what can only be described as a small, classic, mid-50s Ed Wood-style flying saucer, which, according to our resident researcher Cole Harold, already shouted out, shouting out again,
Hell yeah,
was about 6 to 8 feet in diameter and no more than 3 feet high.
It's a little wings.
Little dinkins.
It's a little tiny. It's a little dinkins. I love it. I want to see a UFO like type of craft, and then at the bottom it just says Dinkins, and it's just a little tiny
Inc.
guy. Dinkins Inc. Awesome.
Will and Guy stared in stunned silence as this mini module approached their car. Its lower half was slowly rotating while green and orange lights flashed intermittently along the rim, changing the ever-encroaching ship's color accordingly and bathing the asphalt in a greenish glow. The boys could see that the base of the UFO, where the blinding light had emanated just moments before, was now giving off a shimmering yellow-orange glow which they noted seemed to flicker like a flame. Nothing like gas-powered ships.
Dude,
just classic.
They're my favorite type of UFOs.
I know, fossil fuels for life.
Combustion engines are like, we need more dead dinosaurs.
Someone's in there shoveling fucking coal and fossils into the furnace.
Bring more dead dinosaurs to power our UFOs.
Once their eyes adjusted to the light show on the lower half of the craft, it was then that the pair suddenly noticed the trademark transparent bubble on top of the UFO. But it was less the dome that commanded their attention and more what lurked beneath it, as the two teens could now clearly see a pair of peculiar humanoid figures piloting the saucer. As their fear threatened to boil over into outright terror, the UFO suddenly came to a halt, hovering some 5 feet above the blacktop just in front of their automobile. Old school standoff.
I like it.
Safely ensconced in their mutual vehicles, the two pairs of decidedly different beings stared at one another in silence. Then, without warning, the bubble on the flying saucer flipped back as if on a hinge, and one of the diminutive beings stepped out of the craft and gently, in apparent defiance of the laws of gravity, floated down, hovering just above the pavement.
Oh man, that's like almost that's a show of force.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look what I can do.
It's
I can hover.
Canola humanoid.
Yeah.
That's a lot of things. Like, it seems like either you're probably already, I mean, granted you're using fossil fuels, but you've mastered anti-grav at this point.
Sure.
But But if it's not that, I always like to think it's just like their version of us being on the moon.
Right, gravity.
Like, fuck this.
Yeah.
I can just do whatever I want. It's probably anti-grav, but I want to think it's like whatever. We come from a super dense world. That's why we're so squat
Yeah.
and short. And, this is like paradise. This is like a bounce house, a whole planet of bounce house. It's like a giant birthday party for fucking all the aliens.
Nice.
Will and Guy estimated the creature to be between 2.5 and 3.5 feet tall. They further noted that both beings were nearly identical, with large, bald, oval-shaped heads, ears set much higher than those of a human, like kind of like not just where the eyes are, but like a little bit above, just touching the eyes.
Cool.
No visible nose, and 2 perfectly round, close-set, pupilless eyes. Their mouths were straight and slit-like, though barely discernible as they were set in what were either deeply scarred or heavily wrinkled faces full of pocks, pits, and creases.
Oh, they got like Sharpay face.
Yeah,
Ooh.
but we're like Edward James almost bangs the Sharpay face.
Dude, you got it's like if you got like my brother has a bulldog and that thing has an adorable face, but you gotta clean them folds, man.
You do.
Shits get.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get schmuck in
Man,
there, and it's not gonna be pretty.
Shout out to my brother's dog, Davy Boy Jr. What up, Davy Boy Jr.?
Nice, that's his name.
Yep.
Oh my God,
British Bulldog, baby. Davy Boy Jr.
love it.
Yeah.
That's great, classic.
Yeah.
So I have to point out that whenever we encounter super wrinkly aliens, it always makes me think of the fanged humanoids of Khufu.
Yeah.
And maybe to a little bit lesser degree, the Pascagoula abductors.
No, they all
Because
had
they
the
might
same.
have been made of metal. They had like the elephantine wrinkle skin.
Yeah, they have that same type of like epidermis, I guess, where you're just like, oh, y'all are wrinkly, y'all need some lotion.
Yeah, definitely.
It's getting cold up here in New York, and my skin is starting to scream for lotion, so we're just keeping lotioned up, baby.
That's
we
smart.
got Lolo everywhere. We're
No,
just covered.
no one needs dusty skin.
Dude, I'm telling you, I wear my stress on my dusty face where I just got to keep lotioned because my skin just fucking revolts.
Keep it smooth, man. Stay young.
We're trying.
Speaking of skin, their skin was a bright, almost iridescent green, though this may have been at least partially due to the saucer's lights. And both beings were clad in skin-tight suits complete with an odd apparatus strapped to their backs that resembled an astronaut's air supply tank, though they were not wearing any visible helmets.
Okay.
So backpack, skin-tight diver-type suit.
No helmet, but they have something on their back, like a all right, well,
Who knows what it
who
is?
knows, man? Shit. Who am I to question what technology they have on their back?
Will also noticed that the creatures only had 2 fingers on each hand, which I'd like to add gives the human race a distinct advantage in the all-too-competitive cosmic opposable thumb race.
Wow. Earth.
Earth all the way. Earthica.
Jesus.
Suddenly, the hovering hellspawn shot directly toward the now stalled motor vehicle, and to their everlasting horror, the teens watched as it used its dual digits to pry open the driver's side door.
Oh, shit. This got serious.
Will shoved himself tight against Guy in an effort to get away from the floating, furrow-faced fiend, which had quickly positioned itself behind the wheel of the car.
In a blink of an eye, this thing is behind the wheel of your
There.
car?
Shoots over, opens it up, you scoot over, boom. Carjack.
I mean, I don't want to be the one to bring this up this early in the episode, I know, and especially with Chris not being here to hold me back. This is a kicking.
Oh,
this is like one of these, like a bicycle, like this.
That
See,
makes sense.
I'm doing it for robbery here. That's
I do.
kicking.
I see it. That's
It's a lot of-
multiple kicks.
Yeah, it's a lot of kicking in.
And you can get a lot of force. You're leaning back on your friend for leverage.
Yeah.
You can lunge out. The door is still partially open. And if this thing is floating, unless, of course, it's incredibly dense, as we mentioned earlier, it's going to go flying out of the car pretty
Fuck
quickly.
yeah. Literally kick it in its ass.
Now, you might get fucked after that because
True.
they have like super tech
True.
and who knows what they're going to do as a result of the kickening.
True.
But I think you could probably win the battle even if you ultimately lost the war.
Well, at this point, it didn't happen. We just have an alien behind the wheel. So let's see what happens.
Why Guy didn't simply throw open the passenger side door so that he and his cohort could make their escape is unknown. But as the huddled, horrified youngsters stared at the uninvited and obviously inhuman occupant, little could they have imagined that things were about to take an even stranger turn. Though reports differ somewhat as to what happened next, what is known is that the dead vehicle suddenly began to move. According to some newspaper accounts, the flying saucer rose up a few feet and flew forward, whereupon the car's shocks sank precipitously as the UFO attached itself to the roof.
Oh shit! It's
Ba-boom.
yeah. Oh, all right, man.
Other reports claim that the inert auto began rolling down the highway on its own, led by the saucer.
Okay.
I prefer the landing on the roof.
Yeah, dude. Like when the Empire when they like send in like a landing ship and they
Exactly.
say, like, we're coming, we're landing.
just docks.
Yeah, dude, it's dope.
Then they cut the little hole in the roof of the car and start dropping in. That would have been hype. But we don't know for sure what happened. There's both reports.
Cool.
Either way, the Ririe Carjacker, as the bizarre being has come to be known, began steering the Earth vehicle with the kind of wild abandon usually reserved for an unlicensed 15-year-old out for a joyride in his parents' car. Cue the Fresh Prince tracks.
So this thing is just
It's just happy as a clam. Yeah.
It's like when you get a kid and you put them in the car and they just start going off.
Oh yeah, when
crazy.
you little kids sit on your lap and they can steer while you're clearly manipulating the gas and the brakes for survival's sake.
Just holding on to the brake.
In an open parking lot, obviously not in fucking traffic.
Nice.
It's a thrill.
It's pretty cool.
Will and Guy shrank deeper into the shotgun seat as the car began speeding down the desolate stretch of blacktop.
Oh my God.
Then, just as the boys were nearly overwhelmed with fright, things got even crazier when, without warning, the diminutive driver hooked the wheel and the trio suddenly found themselves plowing through a field of stubble wheat.
Oh, he's going off road.
He's going off road.
Dude, he's got
ATV and all of a sudden.
He's got field car. I love it. Field cars are my favorite.
The vehicle stuttered and bounced as it ripped through the field before abruptly coming to a stop about 75 feet into the battered crop. At this point, Guy had had enough, and the moment the auto jerked to a halt, he threw open the door and piled out into the stubble wheat and began running away from the vehicle at full tilt. I do not know what stubble wheat is. That is not relevant.
Whatever. It's there. It's
Instantly, Guy spied the lights of a farmhouse approximately a quarter of a mile away and bolted toward it. Without so much as a moment's hesitation, the flying saucer detached itself from the roof of the car and began charging after the sprinting teen. Guy, already flush with adrenaline, felt his terror increase as he saw his own shadow elongating before him.
Oh, no.
That's got to be creepy.
That's not good.
He didn't need to glance back to know that the brilliantly illuminated saucer was in hot pursuit. Refusing to succumb to the panic, the teenager pushed himself harder, determined to make it to the supposed safety of the farmhouse whose lights beckoned with the fading hope of salvation. Against all odds, the breathless Guy managed to make it to the farm, smashing into the door and pounding on it in a blind panic, convinced that the saucer was about to swoop down and scoop him up at any second. After a few agonizing moments, the door was opened and the wide-eyed teenager was confronted by the owner of the home, one William Hammond. The gasping, petrified Guy could barely explain what had happened to the farmer and his family, but even though William was likely skeptical of the content of the boy's story, there was no denying the genuine terror in his eyes. Having calmed him down a bit, the farmer finally convinced the youngster to take him back to his vehicle so they could check on his friend and figure out just what the hell was going on.
I was curious. Yeah, he jumped and his buddy's still there.
His buddy's still there.
Oh, shit. Never leave a man behind.
I know.
You can't.
Idaho could have been these boys' nom. You don't leave a man in the field.
It doesn't matter.
You drag him.
You gotta stay with your boy, man. You gotta fucking. All right, well, shit. He broke the rule, but okay.
Yeah, he was in a panic.
I get it.
All right. Guy and William, that is William Hammond, the farmer, made the long walk back to the now running vehicle, which likely looked like an odd, lumpy lighthouse against the starry sky. So it was dead before. Now the motor's running, the headlights are there, and it's just there in the middle of a fucking field. The strange craft was nowhere to be seen, and more frightening still, there was no sign of his abandoned friend. As the seasoned farmer and the frightened youth came ever closer, Guy was given his first shot of relief when he saw his friend now huddled behind the wheel, his eyes shut tight as if unwilling to see what other weirdness the night might offer.
Oh, man.
Shaking him, Guy found Will speechless with fright, but after some coaxing, he and the farmer managed to extract from the lone witness what had happened. According to Will, he found himself unable to follow Guy's exodus and simply cowered against the passenger seat, staring at the alien interloper that had commandeered his car and left it scratched and battered in the middle of the field. It was then that the tiny terror turned to the shocked teen and began to speak in a language that Will could not comprehend, and later described as a series of rapid, high-pitched chirping noises that sounded to him like, quote, a woman or a bird. I can't tell you the times I'm just sitting there and I'm like, is that a fucking sparrow? Oh, hey, Lucy. What the fuck? A woman or a bird?
It's super high pitched and fast. Okay. I mean, actually, kind of how my wife talks. So yeah, I guess. I guess I could totally see it.
You know, I'd never mistake. Yeah, what kind of fucking bird is that? Like the chain smoking toucan of the South Philippines.
She's got a little bit of a chirp to her when she gets mad.
I can buy that. All right. The creature stared at Will, perhaps expecting a response. When it was clear that none was forthcoming, the craggy-faced creature simply climbed out of the car. Within seconds, the saucer that had been chasing Guy zipped back to pick the carjacker up. Once inside the aircraft, the flame-like light began to once again glow at the base of the mysterious machine, and it and its equally incomprehensible occupants soared off into the sky with a strange, almost drunken, that's a quote, zigzagging motion. She got some tipsy-ass fuck-alls from outer space stealing cars, driving drunk.
Man, some DWI aliens. Jesus H. Oh, not good, man. Be safe. It's
really, though?
It's dangerous out there. Jesus.
By the boys' best estimate, only a scant 15 minutes had elapsed since they were first blinded by the bright flash on Highway 26. So from the moment of just being tired, potato farming ain't easy.
Yeah, no, I get it, man.
Going back to your boarding house or wherever the fuck you're living, you know, migrant farm workers, that's a hard, terrible life. God bless them. Just doing their best to fucking get by. You see that flash, you're carjacked, you're dragged off the road. One dude runs a quarter of a mile in record speed.
Yeah, seriously. Like,
tells the story, comes back.
It's a lot.
A lot for 15 minutes.
That's a really busy 15 minutes.
William Hammond patiently listened to their frankly outlandish story, and being a good Samaritan, he went back and got his car and followed the frightened youths home. The farmer felt conflicted by the boys' awe-inspiring story. They were clearly genuinely terrified, but had they actually encountered what they claimed? After making sure they arrived safely, William stopped by a local watering hole to see if anyone else in their tiny community of less than 600 souls had seen something odd that night. Upon asking around the pub, no one confessed to seeing anything particularly strange that night. But just as the farmer was ready to call it a night, a county deputy sheriff came in. Figuring an account as odd as this ought to have an official report, Hammond told the officer of the encounter. By coincidence, or perhaps due to the fact that the small town only had one bar, a few minutes later, the legal-age teens, this was 1967 after all, sauntered into the bar to drown their anxiety.
Oh, boy.
The sheriff approached the men who, still traumatized, confirmed everything that Hammond reported to be true. The officer then convinced the pair to come with him back to the sheriff's office to fill out an official report. Intrigued, the sheriff then began calling his colleagues in the state police and other departments to find out if anyone else had reported anything odd in the night sky. He then sent Will and Guy to meet Corporal Tom Harper of the Idaho State Police at the scene of the incident. The officers at the scene, showing uncharacteristic interest and preparedness in the face of this paranormal event, checked the car and the field for traces of radiation. I don't know what the Idaho State Police are doing with Geiger counters, but
yeah, all right. They're not like, hey, look, this is just some kids fucking around. They're like, no, you know what? We got some time.
And you wouldn't be surprised
let's check
if
it out.
A predominantly white state like Idaho, in the thick of the racially heated late 60s, were dismissive of perhaps any teenager, kind of like the Blob. You know, it's just punk kids doing their shit, but especially those of a minority race, but they're like, well, let's get out the Geiger counters, let's check this shit out. I'm not saying that there weren't racist elements or weird shit going on, but at least the part of the story that's been passed down to us.
Yeah, no,
They seem to be tackling it like genuine investigators ought to.
I mean, yeah, they have the gear and you're there. You may as well, take the time and check it out.
And it was also prime time. Blue Book hadn't officially folded. It wouldn't for a couple of years, and everyone instantly poo-pooing UFOs. So like the decade of the 70s and into the 80s was like a classic dark age for ufology because everyone shit on it. It's like once the government decided there was nothing to it, the mass of Americans just believed that it was bunk and bullshit, just the way the government wanted them to feel, and so they shit all over it. But in 1967, with an active government interest in terms of Project Blue Book, which a lot of people felt at the time was legit, now we know better. It seems like a lot of people were taking the time to like, if this happened, let's really look into this because this could be a national threat, a world threat, or a brilliant scientific discovery.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the state troopers and there's a town of 600, what else you got to do? Check it out.
And you got the Geiger.
It's not gonna hurt.
No, not at all. Of course, all that having been said, needless to say, they found fucking nothing.
Ah, damn it.
Which is, what happens. Not always going to have, overt radioactive, elements around or whatever. But the officers then questioned the locals and discovered that others had reported seeing lights in the sky and that those who raised cattle in the area noticed that their animals behaved strangely that night. In fact, one Mrs. Claude Mann, I hate that they always give their husband's name in the old-timey newspaper reports. Is her name Louise? Just fucking give her name.
Yeah, Mrs. Claude Mann.
Claimed that her cattle had stampeded through a steel pipe fence, running away from the area where the craft had dragged the teen's vehicle, and upon being rounded up and fenced in the remended area, the animals proceeded to break it down again to escape.
Dude, they're breaking down. We'll break down the walls.
So they're scared.
Doing it, yeah.
And cattle often seem to be scared of UFO events. I mean, if anyone follows like The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, whether you want to take it with a grain of salt or not, UFOs tend to really kind of terrify livestock. And it's not just that report. I think I've come across scads of them, though I'm having a hard time thinking about specific examples. What about that photograph of like the weird alien behind the guy's daughter's head that wasn't there but was there? You know what I'm talking about? We did it forever ago.
Solway Spaceman?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Oh.
I think there was description of like cattle like congregating in certain corners nearby, like getting away from the area. It seems like animals, dogs in particular, cattle, horses, fucking llamas, why not? Alpacas. They sense when there's something not right, and they can do it. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is that helps them perceive it. I'm not saying it's psychic or paranormal, but just they have heightened senses, and they observe things about the world the way they can sense like an earthquake coming or whatever, that something's not fucking right. And so when you see a bunch of animals run away from a shore, you fucking follow them.
You got to go, dude.
And when you see a bunch of animals scattered to like one corner of a pen all of a sudden, you realize there's something fucking wrong. And if you happen to look up and see a UFO, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, no, they get a sense for it and they're like, we're fucking out of here, dog.
And they definitely seem to treat it like menace. Maybe part of that is just because it's something anomalous, and anomalous things scare all of us, I guess. But maybe also because of like cattle mutilations or whatever, they actively see it as a predator.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, they have like some inborn fear of the sky demons.
There it is.
Oh.
Yeah. I wasn't going to go there, but I like where you're at. Let's get out those amoebas again, with the sky amoebas that fucking come down and devour the homeless and fucking random strays.
Yeah, dude, I forgot about those guys.
Oh yeah, the fucking atmospheric fucking monsters.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, Trevor Constable.
Yeah, oh my God, with his
fucking flying protozoas.
Yeah, and his weird theory about the Jesus of the Christ. It's a whole thing.
No, it goes deep. It's so deep, it's I mean, it's not impossible. I don't have enough years left in my life to fucking go into that
There's
hole.
an armada. There's a whole thing.
Oh, well, I love armadas, though.
But it has no end.
The Kodan Armada.
I wish it was cool, but it's not, dude. It's awful.
I love The Last Starfighter.
It's just...
Hey, let's do The Last Starfighter as one of our movies coming
All right.
up.
Well, there you go.
Love that movie.
There it is.
Kodan Armada. All right. Back on fucking point. Animals get scared of UFOs sometimes, and maybe that's what's going on. Maybe it's unrelated. Maybe it's a fucking coy dog. I don't fucking know.
There you go.
All right. According to Cole Harold's report, quote, a short time later, word of the encounter reached NICAP, the National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomenon, who dispatched researcher C.R. Ricks. Great name.
CR Rick's coming to town,
I know.
y'all boys over here seeing alien.
That guy has to have been on the CB.
I mean, he has a...
That is a CB handle name.
He has a cigarette and a really cool fucking cowboy hat, and he's like...
Gravelly boys.
Yeah, the boys don't even know...
He's riding the truck into town.
Don't even know what you've all encountered here in Idaho, but let me tell you, CR Ricks does.
Oh,
I'm here.
God bless.
I'm here.
He's a hero.
Long
He's
drag.
an American hero.
Yeah.
Long drag on the marb.
Ricks. There it is.
CR Ricks. Cruising down the highway looking for UFOs.
Looking for you.
That's so stupid. Okay.
Oh, that's great.
Ricks found a man who had a similar encounter with seemingly related beings on the exact same night as Guy and Will's run-in with the unknown. The witness stated that during that night, a craft of similar make had landed in front of his vehicle and that he watched a small being approach his car and proceed to tap on his windshield.
These little bastards.
I know.
These little wrinkly bastards.
Wrinkly fuck-alls.
Damn it. All right, we have a second assault apparently here.
Ricks managed to find the witness. So he heard this account and he found the witness. However, unlike Tossie and Begay, he was not comfortable discussing the encounter in detail, aside from confirming that he too had a similar experience and was adamant about remaining anonymous in regard to his sighting. End quote.
But dude, you got corroboration,
You got corroboration.
man. Cooperation.
The
It's
kids,
there,
the
dude.
kids, and so
yeah, you know you're not nuts, man.
what makes me think this isn't a
Shit.
copycat? I mean, I don't know. Obviously, we don't know who this dude is, but. If someone's doing a copycat thing, they're trying to like ride the exploitation or exploit the popularity of a sighting.
Right.
So they would just ride the coattails, get in the papers, try to fucking, score some local radio interview, or who knows how far they want to take this.
Right.
Maybe, get into next year's Memorial Day parade.
Local celebrity.
The fact that this guy wants to keep it on the down low suggests to me that he had an experience, maybe told a trusted friend or two. They leaked it to CR Ricks. Yeah. And Ricks tracked him down. He's like, dude, I don't want any involvement. I'm not interested. I don't need to be known as this guy.
Right.
It got these fucking wrinkly ass melon head fucks that are trying to get in my car. They didn't. I don't want any part of it. I wish this never happened. And that to me, it doesn't insist on its reality, but at least lends credibility.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, if the guy wanted to, he could be like, yeah, no, I saw him, and he could have tried to exploit it for whatever state fair bullshit that's going to get you.
Exactly.
But
some blue ribbon bullshit.
Yeah.
Some fucking fried pizza frites, some fucking
congratulations on getting carjacked, boys. Good job.
All right. So, thus ends the brief and baffling saga of the Ririe Carjackers. Where did they come from? What was their agenda? Their motivation? Were they the alien equivalent of drunken frat boy hellions ramrodding around, pulling pranks and causing trouble just for the sheer hell of it? Or was there something darker, more sinister at play? Were the creatures targeting isolated humans in the middle of nowhere and dragging them to even more remote locales for reasons too terrible to fathom?
Ooh.
We'll likely never have the answers to those questions, but the mind reels at what could have possibly been behind these truly bizarre encounters.
Oh, shit. There it is. The Ririe Carjackers. The Ririe Carjackers, as they ought to be called, as Rob wrote the article, and I totally screwed the title up. So, yes. What in the fuck do these things want? Besides to just ram around in cars. Now, the second person that encountered these things, the thing just literally tapped on his windshield like, hey man, what's going on?
Hey, what's up?
Which I guess, if you are visiting from another planet or dimension or whatever, and you happen to see like, oh hey, here's these hairless monkey things, and they're in these weird metal boxes with like these black wheels on them that roll around or whatever. So it could be them just checking the transportation out. Like, what do these guys got? Like, what are these things? And
it could very easily be that.
I mean, because if you think about it, like cars, we spend a good majority of time in our cars. Like it's how we get around. It's our mobility.
And if you're like,
unless you're like Christian, you got an e-bike,
right? But it's still a wheeled contraption.
Yeah, totally.
If you're like, let's go lofty here. Let's not go to the fucking like the teenage hot rodders.
Right.
If you're an anthropologist,
okay,
an interdimensional anthropologist, and you see these things going around, You're definitely going to be academically curious. You're going to wonder what, and maybe you're just going to fucking think this looks fun. The way when you're a little kid,
Yeah.
and or better, to have a better example, as an adult, you drive cars, they're complex enough, whatever, but every time I go to a track and I see go-karts and shit, I'm like, that looks fucking boss.
Oh, for sure.
That looks mad fun. It's a rudimentary, stripped down, not nearly as cool version of what you just get to routinely drive around in, but it looks so fucking cool.
Just got a little Honda engine in it, just fucking just take off in it. Just every time I see a mini bike, I get jealous. I'm like, I want a mini bike.
Right, I know.
Yeah, man, I want a little mini
I
bike.
used to love fucking around on those things.
Yeah,
when
they're
I
so
was a
much
kid.
fun. Look, put a lawnmower engine in them. They can run on anything. As
Yeah,
long
those
as you got a
stubby little bastards.
gear drive going. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I'm thinking, although the idea that maybe they were trying to get these people isolated to like abduct them or something, it just seems like they had the opportunity the entire time.
I agree.
You know, like they really had.
I mean,
they could have just been like, "Yo, fuck you guys. Guess what? You're with us." You
as
know.
fast as Guy Tossey, I think I got his name right. Yes, it was Will Begay and Guy Tossey. Probably was a young, fit potato farmer.
Yeah.
A UFO can run you the fuck down,
Oh, for sure.
and didn't. Almost like it was just like, oh, dude, where you? Ah, fuck, he's gone. You almost get a sense. Let's go out even further. Like these guys were maybe even trying to make friends. Like, what if they were the equivalent? The way these guys are teenagers in their car,
Right?
they're teenagers in their vehicle, and they're like, dude, this looks fucking cool. Maybe a lot of interdimensional, intergalactic species, you just show up. And because they're, more advanced than we are, they have ability to communicate, and you just kind of share thoughts and ideas and fucking fun tools like cars or fucking video game systems or whatever the fuck they do for entertainment. And they're just like, I'm going to hop in, I'm going to drive. And he's just chirping away at him like, this is fucking awesome, dude. Look at this thing. Woo! I'm
Dude,
in this.
check
What is
this
this?
thing out.
Why is it bumpy now? I don't even know. Your car just died. Oh. And he starts explaining shit like, dude, that was awesome. It's great. You want to drive my shit? And fucking in the meantime, guy's already run to the fucking farmhouse. Will is fucking crying in the shotgun seat looking at him going, I don't know what you're saying. You tweet like a woman.
You're just like a bird woman, like a woman bird.
And then finally, dude's like, oh, yeah. Yeah, these are hairless apes.
Yeah, these things.
They don't know shit.
They have no.
They got their
fucking
combustion
reference.
engines.
Yeah.
They haven't reached. Dr. Stephen Greer hasn't sold enough of his app, and they're not psychically in contact with us yet.
Man, you gotta.
We got to wait till these
yoga.
fuckers see 5 in about 60 fucking years.
You gotta, dude.
Kundalini yoga.
You gotta do yoga to communicate with the aliens, man. That's the root shocker of it all. You face your asshole towards the moon. They see it and they're like, "Oh, hi," and then they come down.
All right,
and make themselves.
That might
visible.
be a little harsh.
Just saying, that's how I talk to aliens.
Listen, I do think there is a real chance that a psychic connection or rapport could be made with more advanced beings.
I think it's a psychic phenomenon myself. Doesn't mean that I'm not
sure that's the method I would want to approach it with.
Doesn't mean that I'm not going to be like, yo, stop facing your asshole towards the moon to talk to aliens. Just saying.
That's true.
There it is.
That's
Sometimes
true.
you got to call it like you see it. Ooh, hard line for Mark.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're not down with that?
So, well, hey, you know what? Who am I to judge? To each their own.
That's true.
If you want to show your asshole to the moon, show your asshole to the moon.
Listen,
I
I would rather, asses and moons aside, and thank you for acknowledging the moon as a thing.
I didn't say it was real.
Oh, well, you didn't say the fake moon.
It's the effigy of the moon.
Oh, you fucker. All right.
It's your idea of the moon.
God damn it.
Psychically projected from the Fae.
You are unraveling all my fucking threads.
Indeed.
Jesus Christ.
Speaking of the Fae,
please.
This very well could be a little fairy person.
Oh, that's an
because
interesting thought.
I've always thought to myself,
like they're breathing our atmosphere with no problem.
They can totally have vehicles. Why wouldn't they? We had those little gnomes that had vehicles. I mean, they need a way to get around. So if this just happens to be some fairy folk, yeah, totally.
Look at those motherfucking things.
And for the time period, it does fit into the classic '50s UFO.
Oh, it's almost so cliched that it's funny. I know you're saying it like kind of offhanded and maybe a touch seriously, but it really is worth considering because one of the things that the Fae seem to do over and over again is take the iconography.
That's exactly where I was going with it. Yeah,
Earthican, for lack of a better term, pop culture.
Yeah.
And in this case, be it like, say, 1950s sci-fi, Ray Harryhausen, Ed Wood, as I said.
That classic sauce, or just like now everything's a goddamn gray.
Yeah.
And Tic Tacs. Like,
I know.
It's a bummer, man.
I know.
Come on.
I mean, I'm glad they're getting acknowledged, but Jesus Christ.
But if this is
just
how they want us to see them,
and
this is what they put out, that's what they are.
Sure.
And it's kind of cool. I mean, I'm not saying. I mean, maybe the description could be.
Say you have magical tech or whatever. Or you can build things and make them work because you have access to a technology that we would call magic because we don't know what else to call it. And you see like some of these tropes. You see the day the Earth stood still, or whatever you see, you know, or even if it's later Mars attacks or something. You're like, oh, that looks awesome. And then you can build something like that, but unlike on Earth where it only works in a movie because aero cars are not aerodynamic and they fucking suck. You can make it actually work. So
Totally.
I mean, fantasy shit can be, but also then there's that other paradox where maybe, you know, Hollywood embraced these cliches because they were based on actual eyewitness reports. But there weren't a ton of flying saucer reports. There are some. Obviously, there's Kenneth Arnold's, though they're more like, I don't know, crescents. And there's a lot of other sightings, but a lot of the ones in the 50s especially were like glowing missiles with like flame shooting,
the cigars,
green colors, cigars, lots of things like that. There were some saucers, but they weren't in wide abundance. That was more of a Hollywood gimmick, and this is 67, long after that has become an established pop culture cliche. And these fuckers come riding in on there, and I love it. 6 by 8 foot,
it's
3 foot tall,
it's a little tiny
wings.
wings.
These tiny little 2.5 foot tall to 3 foot fuckers are just doing their thing,
dude.
And then they steal a car.
Yeah, I mean,
and not even steal it. They just take it for a joyride, run it into the dirt, and they're like, well, it's not going anymore.
Yeah, see you later.
Just like a bumper car that gets stuck in the corner. You're like, all right, I wasted
bail.
my ticket. I'm gone. I'm not going to stay here and wait for it to get repaired.
So what's interesting about this too is that I was trying to take the angle of like, all right, could we be dealing with like a hoax or, you know, something?
Sure.
With this, obviously, with the cops eventually getting involved, doesn't really seem to behoove them to be like, hey, look what we experienced. Nobody's having a good time, fun show with this at all. The one, so again, the cops get involved right there. Major step.
Right.
Major step. You got the Idaho State Police with their Geiger counters checking it out. So if this was a hoax, this backfired the fuck on them real bad.
All right, but let's take this route.
Okay.
Some guys, you know, young guys, you know, working hard, not in their hometown. You know, you're probably not going to have a lot to do in terms of nightlife. Like the population, at least according to the census, in 1970, that's 3 years later, is about 600 people.
Right.
Even as of 2010, it was only like 576. So it hasn't done much. So you're not. I mean, you might get laid if you're gorgeous or something. There's always going to be somebody single and attractive, I guess, that might be attracted to you. But the opportunities in a tiny Idaho burg in the middle of nowhere when you're just sort of a migrant farmer are probably pretty thin, and so you get a little tipsy. You bring a pint with you. You have a few sips after work.
You go field
You're driving home
carring.
drunk.
Yeah.
You don't go field carring. You just sloppy drunk driving to a field 75 feet, and you're like, fuck.
Oh, then you're like,
how do we get the car out of here? What are we going to do?
Okay.
Holy
so
shit.
Use it as
We're
the cover.
tipsy Native Americans in a state that's not ours, fucking drunken with our shit stuck, and you got to make up a story.
I guess using it as cover is pretty fucking out there.
It's way out there.
You're not going for like,
I'm not saying I subscribe to this.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
just throwing it out there.
We were driving and like a fucking deer came in front of us and we didn't want to hit it and we went up in the field. You're like, no, there was a spacecraft came down, an alien took the car, drove it. Then on top of that, you get another guy down the road that the police or the state troopers end up figuring out. They had a similar experience, but he just doesn't want to talk about it.
That's true.
I'm sorry, it was C.R. Ricks. It was C.R. Ricks. We came across that guy. So there is a connection there, 100%. Where like it doesn't really nice. It doesn't really make sense to be like, oh yeah, no, it was a UFO.
No, you're right.
Like,
and what you just said,
doesn't behoove anybody.
You know, I was trying to put on my skeptic's hat, but in reality, you're right. Guy and Will walk to the farmer's house. They say, like you say, a deer ran out in front of me, or I just lost control of my car. Can you help us get it out of the field? Maybe drag it out. You know, they try to, not smell boozy or whatever. And they have a prosaic thing. They don't run in a blind. One doesn't run in a blind panic. Yeah, because who makes the plan? All right, Will, you stay here and act terrified.
Yeah, well,
this is the UFO
farmer.
plan.
Yeah.
I'm going to run my balls off, smash on this door, hope I don't get fucking shot in the middle of the night, terrifying everyone. Hope he's a real nice guy, as he turned out to be.
Yeah.
Follows me back. You'll finish telling the story of all this weird shit, so make up a good thing, and I'll act surprised too, because I don't know what you're going to say. and then we'll have him follow us. We'll pretend to be scared all the way back. And in fact, there's no part of the story where it says they had to be dragged out of the field, so they are obviously able to drive out of the field.
Yeah.
So none of that makes sense.
No.
And when you add to the fact, C.R. Ricks found a fucking, an additional eyewitness, ostensibly. I mean, there's not a lot of confirmation on it, but NICAP was a pretty legit organization.
Totally.
It happened. Something happened.
It just doesn't seem, it just doesn't make sense that they would be like, oh, best cover story ever.
Yeah, it's terrible.
No one's going to ever think that we were drunk and just rode into a fucking field. No, it was an alien, dude. Like, it's just not going to work that way.
It would not.
So I'm going to definitely go for here that they experienced something. Again, these things kind of hard to categorize. Not really sure if you're talking about, alien, fae, in my opinion, same type of thing. But Phalians, clearly not a ghost rod or a demon.
Probably not. You can't take Daemon completely off the table.
That's true. They kind of have a little bit of some accoutrement. They have a little bit of a backpack. They did have.
Well, all right, hold on a second. The first thing you think of when you think demons is backpack? What are they, like straight edge kids from the 90s?
Dude, yeah, dude. Fucking a firestorm
pitchforks
to purify.
on their fucking fists.
Yeah, dude, a firestorm to purify, street by street, man. There it is, block by block.
Bless your heart.
Fucking A. So, again, you're right. Never take the devil off the table.
Of course not.
Because we can't. And, that's a wild one. That's really, and I love the art, too. These pictures actually will be posted up on our website. They will not be in the description of the podcast. They will be on the website.
Yeah.
For this episode, you can see the pictures because, man, the one of them here is drawn like so gnarly. It's just a really cool pen sketch. You're like,
I believe that's Cole's.
Oh, that's Cole's. Oh,
yeah.
no shit.
No,
Cole
did an awesome pen and ink rendition of it. One of my favorites that I've ever seen.
Cole fucking nailed it. But then, like, you got down here, like, head detail, and after you're like, all right, it's a potato.
That might be an eyewitness sketch.
That's the potato farmer.
It's definitely potato.
Drew a potato with some
potato
eyes.
with high ears and two circle tiny eyes.
Weird mouth. Yeah, which is cool. But
not entirely on, like, though maybe I don't remember him that well. Do you remember the fuckalls from the Space Invader movie from, I don't know, the early 90s, late 80s?
I don't know.
I'm not even 100% sure if I'm accurate about this anymore.
So it's not really ringing a bell.
But anyway, none of that's relevant. When you really get to the gist of this, I can't help. I have this just gut feeling that they're just having fun. I don't know what passes for a youth in outer space. They could be 300 years old and they're still sowing their wild oats.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but it really seems like they came down here to have some fun. It doesn't seem like they were trying to be malicious because they very easily they can float. They have high technology. They can either use a UFO to tow a car by an invisible beam or like magnetically latch on it and just make it go wherever it goes.
If they wanted to fuck shit up, they really could.
And they weren't. And they just tried to talk. And so even when Will was alone after Guy had made his escape, the thing just chirps at him a little bit. When he doesn't respond, he's like, all right, hops in the fucking UFO and takes off with his buddy.
No.
No damage. I mean, now, and I was about to say, we don't know for sure there wasn't an abduction, but the arbitrary timekeeping of Guy and William Hammond, the farmer, indicates it was just 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So if it is missing time, it's a matter of minutes and nothing more. So this doesn't fall into the classic abduction scenario. It doesn't seem to be truly nefarious, except for a little damage to a car in a field. It really seems sort of fun-loving, prankster-ish, terrifying to those involved, and understandably so, but sort of like, this is the kind of encounter you almost want to have. Like, in the moment, it's going to be just harrowing, and maybe for Guy and Will, it was emotionally traumatizing and psychologically scarring. But it seems like, to me, it'd be almost one of those things you can rationalize, like, if they wanted to hurt me, they could have. And this is just kind of a fucking wild ride.
Yeah, they didn't really do anything besides, like, you know what, boys, we're going to go have ourselves a little field car time. And then they leave.
I'm
as they want to do.
Very stoked about this case, just because I love it when it's fun and weird and leaves you kind of baffled.
And no one's really hurt. Everyone's just kind of like,
exactly.
Fuck, this is weird. I mean, the car probably needs some repairs to it, but whatever.
Yeah, it's not like some Claudette Souchon stuff where you're like, I don't even know.
Jesus, the horse. My God, the horse.
The horse. That poor fucking horse.
God, poor fucking horse. Jesus Christ. Well, there you have it, the Ririe Carjackers. Thank you all so very much for joining us. The Cryptonaut Podcast. Find us in the socials, Robert.
Hell yeah.
The Instas and the Twitters and the Facebook.
Do it up.
Myself and you and Christopher.
We're all on the gram. gram
on the
now.
gram. So check us out on the gram.
I mean,
man.
I'm there intermittently. I'll be
Yeah.
honest.
No, I'm there.
I do it from my desktop. I don't have a phone that can handle the gram.
It's fine. It's good, dude. Dude, the Cool Pad plus the gram, dude. Not good.
I'm there.
Dude.
Yeah,
Not good.
no, it's not going to happen. But I'm at least making an effort.
No, totally. Hit us up there. Check that out. Our YouTube channel. Check it out.
Hell yeah.
YouTube.com/Cryptonaut Podcast. Got a bunch of fun videos going up there all the time. Be sure to subscribe to that. If you have any things you want us to react to, shoot us some links. You can email them.
Totally.
You can email those over to cryptonautpodcast@gmail.com. Patreon.com/Cryptonaut Podcast. Thank you to everyone that supports us over there. So stoked. Got a lot of fun stuff coming up. And yeah, there's all the plugs. Oh, I almost forgot. Heller Space. T-Public. We got some merch. We also got CryptonautMerch.com. Exclusive crowd made.
Indeed.
And we got some things happening over there. We're gonna be adding some more products to it. Maybe a little baseball hat thing here.
I'm pretty excited about that.
Pom-pom.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, pom-pom is put
Pom-pom,
on
there
it.
it is. So you should check that out. And you know what? Before we get out of here, we have some shout outs and some thank yous to some good folks that sent us some super dope swag.
Cool, dude. Mark handed me all sorts of crap when I arrived today. I'm like, holy shit.
Dude, I've been sitting on this stuff like forever because I haven't seen you guys like in like a week or like almost like 2 weeks. So we got a really awesome swag box here from Jackie Rabbit. You can check her out. Her website, actually, I have it right here written down. It is zerodepthproductions.com. You can also find her at Jackie_Rabbit on Instagram. Be sure to check her out. Awesome artist. Lots of really cool work happening. She was so cool to send us. Down here real quick. These wicked coloring books.
Amazing.
Dude, we got Monsters Among Us, a frightfully boring coloring book, which is super fun. This one's great. The Depression coloring book, colorful activities for your dark moods. That's super cool. We got A is for ants in your eyes. The Diabolical Alphabet Coloring and Activity Book. This one actually might be one of my personal favorites, where it's I for Insanity. We got N for Nightmares. And, of course, here we go, M for The Murder of Crows.
Oh my.
Very Auburn-esque. Yeah, so be sure to check that out. Also, too, here, we got Pride and Pterodactyls, a historically inaccurate coloring book. So these are
Love it.
Yeah, these are super dope. And again, be sure to check her out over there at zerodepthproductions.com. And again, Instagram, Jackie_Rabbit. She's also on Facebook. Check it out over there. Jackie, thank you so much for the swag. We love it. It is so dope. I'm definitely going to have my kids use some of those, but probably not all of them.
That's fair.
Yep, don't want to be like, here's H is for hatchet. Probably won't work, but be sure to check her out. It is super dope. Also, too, I actually been following this person on Instagram for a while here. I'm going to bring up here the Interdimensional Wasteland. Now, this is from Instagram, so just look up Interdimensional Wasteland. Check it out. And this actually is a super cool description here. The digital parking lot where punk metal and high strangeness collide. Shirts, prints, pins, and other assorted junk. Click link to be a wasteoid, and that is interdimensionalwasteland.com. Dude, we got some really sweet posters here. We got the Mothman, Sasquatch, Snallygaster,
Grafton Horror.
The Grafton Horror.
Headless Horror.
The Snallygaster, which I think I may have already said.
Fresno Nightcrawlers.
The Fresno, and my personal favorite that I already grabbed before I even brought it over, was the Flatwoods Monster.
Because that's your baby.
So the Flatwoods is my jam.
We know if we get anything Flatwoods, it goes right to Mark.
To me.
That's his favorite. But yeah, they're like these retro, like EC comic book cover posters that are fucking stunning.
Yeah, they're super cool, dude.
So dope. So beautifully illustrated. Love them.
Oh, man, there's a Vegetable Man poster that he did, too. That's pretty cool.
Oh, I'm sure.
We got some super sweet cards and some stickers and some pins. And thank you. Thank you again. That is interdimensionalwasteland.com. Be sure to check that out over there. And again, thank you to Jackie Rabbit for her box of swag, too. We appreciate all the rest of the people send us. It's so cool that we get presents from folks that are like, hey, man, can I send you some shit? And I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. I can't believe you want to send me stuff.
Yes.
It is so cool. And the least that we can do is take some time on the show to be like, you know what? Thank you for your presence.
Oh, because we are so grateful.
We appreciate it.
I mean, if you look at our videos, that set is almost wholly decorated with gifts from talented people and good folks out there that have sent us stuff. And we love it. We absolutely love it. We cherish it.
So
our
cool.
studio right now, we're surrounded by all kinds of things that have been sent in to us because it's like... it's like a treasure trove of just talent that we are lucky enough to have listened to us and then share their skills with us, and it's wonderful.
Just 3 random assholes on the net talking, and people are like, "I like your shit. I want to send you stuff."
Love
Super
it.
cool. We appreciate it.
Honestly.
We love it, and we love, obviously, all the support. It means the world to us. Holy shit! Thank you all so very much. I know we've had a couple of rough weeks here, but we're getting through it. I think all of our lives just consecutively got super fucking complicated and fell to shit.
A little
so
bit,
I'm
yeah.
in Pop Warner fucking hell right now
Yeah,
with this
you
Pop
are.
Warner football shit, which is dope because I love it and my son's doing great and I'm having such a fun time. But god damn it, there's no schedules. I get it. Everyone has a different thing, but there's no schedule set. Plus, my daughter's got dance and this and all kinds of shit, and I'm fucking losing my goddamn mind, Rob.
Dude, I know.
I need a schedule.
I'm here for you.
I am
buddy.
a
I know you desire it. You are a hound for fucking
Consistency.
organization. Yeah.
Consistency is a hobgoblin of the mind.
The hobgoblin of little minds.
Oh,
yes.
the hobgoblin. Yes. Is
Yeah.
that really a thing that people say?
Yes, that's
So
a phrase.
okay, so I crave consistency. I need a schedule
Right.
because if I don't, my hobgoblin starts to talk to me.
That's fair.
And it's not
That's
good.
fair.
It's not cool.
No,
It's
I
not
I
cool.
like things a little looser and sloppier, but even I get a little fucking anxious when things start unraveling too fucking much. So I know where you're coming from.
Law and order, like Bartertown.
Wow.
Oh, bringing it back to Thunderdome.
That's amazing. The protocols are always in effect
Oh.
when Chris isn't here.
Oh, well, thank you, Robert. It's been a pleasure
Always.
being your dancer. I
Goddamn
appreciate
private
it.
dancer.
I'm
Dancer
a
for
private
money.
dancer, indeed. There you all. Thank you all. There you go. Thank you all so very much. And talking to you soon.
Fudging A right.
I can't speak for a damn for some
No,
reason.
you're doing great. Are
I'm
you
trying.
kidding me? No.
I'm still hungover from the Bills game.
Yeah, that was a hell of a game.
I know, but we are releasing this on the day after. This is a Victory Tuesday for us.
Yes.
I'm saying us because you're in this now.
Yeah, I'm in it there. I've seen both games.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of PBRs, and I was screaming at the TV, and then I was laughing at one point. I'm like, this can't even be real. What are the Titans doing? Oh, but we'll see, man.
Yeah,
'cause coming up,
I definitely got a little deep into the vodka, and I was like, oh, fuck, man. I haven't drank. Obviously, I've been sick as shit, and I haven't drank. Plus, I'm on piles of prednisone on top of everything
Oh,
else.
man.
So I was like, oh, fuckity wuck it. I don't even know what's happening. I
Here
am
we
drunk,
go.
and I am up all night. I'm going to write about this fucking carjacker and make it happen.
Oh, man. Well, this obviously is coming out a week later, so we're going to see what happens on Sunday against Miami. There it is. Go Bills. We're talking to you soon.
Bah!